And cha-ching, you're at the Real Money Coach Show. Listen, this is the Thanksgiving version of the show. We want to know where you're watching from. You know how we do on the Real Money Coach Show. Put it in the chat where you're watching from. Are y'all already on vacation? I see y'all coming in. Well, tell me where you're watching from. Are you here in the Queen City? Are you somewhere else in these United States, or are you abroad? Donna James from Virginia, thank you for being here. It's awesome to have you here. Donna, tell your pastor I said hello. So we got Donna James from Virginia. Who else is here tonight? Let me see it in the chat where you are watching from. I want to do this before we get too far into the show tonight. I want to, Alice Martin, thank you for being here. Alice is a faithful viewer watching from North Carolina, Charlotte, the Queen City right here. And I just wanted to just tell everyone thank you for all of the text messages, the cards, all the condolences and well wishes that you all have shared with the passing of my nephew. So I was there this weekend for his memorial service. And I tell you, one of those things that just, life is so short, y'all. Life is so short and unpredictable. And so, and, it was great to be with family. And I'll have to talk a little bit to Michelle about that when she comes on, my co-host. And so we're looking forward to a great holiday, great Thanksgiving, spending time, not traveling, y'all. I'm not traveling. I've been traveling so much lately. It's going to be nice just to be home, kick back, watch some football. And let me do this. Let me go ahead and bring my co-host on, because we're going to talk about some Michigan Pacific things tonight, right? We're going to talk about a couple of things. So without any further ado, let's bring on Michelle Mitchell.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So, see, I was getting ready to have this conversation about Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
If you grew up in Michigan, there's one thing that you have to talk about on Thanksgiving, right? You know what that is? The Lions. The Lions,
oh,
right?
That's right. Yeah.
The Detroit Lions. Listen, they were the original team that started playing on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And I think this time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're playing the Bears on.
Are they?
I think so. It's one of those rival games. It's either the Bears or the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, Lord.
I believe it's the Bears. So my
husband is. Oh, yes.
Listen, tell Tony we gonna be on FaceTime lockdown because I finally got a dog in the fight. The Lions are finally doing something for
exactly.
And so
yes, everybody's around here so excited about the Lions. So.
I know, Michelle. Yeah. I've never seen it like that. And of course,
yeah.
I mean, we were actually in Michigan, 2 weekends ago because of Lisa's uncle's funeral, and then back because of my nephew's funeral last weekend. And it's just a buzz, whether you're in Western Michigan or whether you're in Detroit Metro. Everybody's a buzz about the Lions and their possibility. It seems as though it's their year. It seems as though it's their year. They win, and even those ugly wins, and just kind of remarkable. But so that's what I'm going to be doing this Thanksgiving. Is I'm going to be watching the Lions, and then I'll be from there, watching a few more football games. Usually the Cowboys play,
right?
I don't care about them, but then it's always a big weekend. Thanksgiving weekend is a big weekend because Michigan and Ohio State play.
You're right.
Being a big Michigan fan,
yes.
I'm not looking as much forward to it this year as I have the last 3, but I'm still gonna be on it with my Michigan socks, my Michigan gear.
Oh,
we just gonna have a great
you and Cam.
So Donna James says she's been traveling to Europe and across the U.S. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Donna, her pastor, Dr. Jeffrey Guns, is someone I've known for years back in the day. We used to go to the National Baptist Convention he
Oh,
the new ministers class that I was
okay.
a part of. You know that's been a long time ago.
That's a long time ago,
I,
Tony.
I've been preaching for 20 years, right? So
I
you
know,
know
right?
how far back that go.
Yeah.
So, but he's a great guy. He actually came to Jackson and spoke at our church and stuff. So
Okay.
pretty cool dude. So what's going on in your world? It's Q4. I mean, it's like 1 month left, right? So you
Yeah,
got December to get done whatever you get done for your business and your
that's correct.
write-offs and all that kind of stuff.
That's
So
correct. There's one thing that is new this year for filing. So all LLCs have to file their BOI,
yep,
their beneficial owner
information.
information. Yes. And if you don't file, it's a $500 fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not 500. I think it's 500 for every month that it goes unfiled. It's
Yeah.
like an extreme,
Extreme.
right?
Yeah, it
And
is.
and so this is all part of the fencing
The fence in. Yes. Hmm.
legislation, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and for people who don't know what's fencing, I'm trying. It's financial
Fine.
financial criminal
Yeah.
investigative unit or
Yes.
something like
Yes.
that. Yeah. So what they're doing is trying to crack down
Crack
on
down on that PPP money that went out there that that had no business going out. Yeah.
right.
That's what that is.
Well, and it's so funny because so many people talk about, they were asking, were you doing better under Trump or were
Hmm.
you doing better under Biden? Well,
Right.
under Trump, I mean, people were getting checks for any, I mean,
Yeah.
perception, right?
Yeah.
Perception is that we were doing better, but a lot of
Hmm.
that was PPP money that
Yes.
ended up causing inflation in that
Yes.
administration. But,
Too,
that's
too
all
too many dollars circulating in the system.
too many dollars, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
quantitative easement, you put all this
It's
money into
supply and
this,
demand, right?
right? And
Yeah.
now you got to take it back. You got to cause
Yeah.
some
Got to
prices
get it
to
back.
go up so you take it back. It will be interesting to see because there was something came out about the tariffs.
Yes.
I
Oh,
don't know if you
yes.
saw any of that, but the tariffs, they're saying the tariffs on Canadian and Mexican goods
Hmm.
is going to be 25%.
25%.
25%.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
that is going to jack prices up.
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure. Because like businesses can't absorb 25%. Like if they absorbed it, so many people would lose their jobs.
right. So they're
So
going to pass
many.
that back on to the consumer.
So they pass it back onto the consumer so that way it's spread out more. It's spread out more, but that's going to cause problem too.
Right,
Where then there's not enough money circulating to even buy goods.
right. So you're
So
talking about inflation again,
yeah.
and
Hmm.
I think China it was a 10%
10% on top of what they already are
doing. Yeah.
charging. Yeah.
So you got China with 10%, and I can't remember what South or Central American other countries were.
Yeah.
But it really surprised me that it was a 25% on Canada.
Canada. Yeah.
That's the one that kind of surprised me a little
Yeah.
bit. I don't know. I don't know what Canadian products are out there, right?
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
don't. I have no idea, right? So
Yeah.
I know I used to like that Canadian water, right? Remember that back in the day.
Yes, the Canadian
So,
one.
but the main thing, folks, is just stay tuned for
Yeah.
what's going on. And I love what our guest said last week. He said you got to take care of your house regardless of who's in the White House.
That's
So we
true.
got to make sure that we're minding our P's and Q's. We got to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Hmm.
And one of the things that our guest tonight is going to talk about land and ownership, right? The
Yeah.
legacy of land.
Yes.
And I'm really looking forward to having this conversation. My cousin Lynette from Queens is watching tonight. Thank you for being
Welcome.
here. So we're going to talk about land. It's so interesting that Lynette has come on because just this weekend when I was in Muskegon, I actually took my kids, my grandkids, to see my dad's first house. which is
Oh.
actually 3 houses away from Lynette's dad's.
Oh, really?
So,
Nice.
so we lived in the same block as my Aunt Benny and Uncle and my Aunt Benny or Uncle Benny and Aunt Bay. And
Right.
so Lynette's daughter and I, we went to preschool together,
Mm-hmm.
played in the basement together. We actually knocked my sister's teeth out in the basement. Listen. When you're playing tag, you can't stop right in the middle of the race. You gonna get knocked down, right? And the basement floor is unforgiving. So
Right. Because they were cement.
they were cement, right? So,
Right.
but the point is, and what's interesting is that when we look at that one block, 2 more blocks down the street was my Uncle Bill.
Mm-hmm.
So his son owns that house, and my aunt lived it so it was a
They
25.
all lived in Fruitport.
No, this was Muskegon Heights.
Oh, that was in Muskegon Heights. Okay.
Yeah. So we had aunt in the 2500 block, Uncle Bill. My aunt and my dad's side was in the 2400 block. We lived in the 2300 block.
Yeah.
And then my dad's dad lived around the corner too.
Okay.
So I mean, within like 3 or 4 blocks, we had all these houses.
Yeah.
And you know,
that's how my family was in Benton Harbor, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
very close like that.
And then of course we moved out to Fruitport when you know Daddy bought the land and built a house out there. So, but it's very interesting. So I'm looking forward to having a conversation with him and sharing a little. I read a little bit about the story of his grandparents, so I'm looking forward to him sharing that. And just Michelle, just how important it is for us to hang on to the land.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the one thing they're not making any more of. And
that's
so
true.
And so sometimes we get taken advantage of because we come in and somebody offers us a little something and you think that's a big money.
Right.
And then next thing you know, you sold that land for 30, 40, that house for 30, 40,000, 50,000, and they're going to build a $600,000 house on it.
You're right. Exactly.
But anyway, we're going to get more into that. I have my opinions. They're very strong. So we're going to get a little bit more into that when Dario Harris comes on, and I will introduce him after we take a couple commercial breaks, and we'll be right back in about a minute.
All right.
Let's roll it.
Take control of your finances today with The Real Money Coach. Our free financial wellness checkup offers personalized insights and strategies to secure your financial future. Don't miss out on the clarity and confidence you deserve. Visit www.therealmoneycoach.com now. That's www.therealmoneycoach.com right now to start your journey towards financial freedom. Your future self will thank you.
Do you have passion for your business but feel like your finances are falling short? Running a business takes more than a great idea. It takes a solid financial plan. Mitchell Consulting can help you turn your passion into profit with their financial advisory services. Get the financial guidance your business needs. Contact Mitchell Consulting to learn more about their passion to profit capabilities.
All right, Michelle, as we tell everyone with their business, you're going to get them right. You're going to get them right. They're going to make a profit. And then I'm going to show them what to do with that profit. All right. All right. So we got it covered. So tell them how they can get a hold of you.
You can get a hold of us at mitchellconsultingservice.com and click the book a call button.
All right. And as you all know, you can go to therealmoneycoach.com. There you will find all of my contact information, as well as a place to schedule an appointment with me as well. Let me tell you about Dario Harris. Now, Michelle, we've been rolling. We've been doing some great shows, but I think this is the first. No, it's not. It's the second. No, it is the first time we've had an Emmy award-winning filmmaker on the show. We've had a person that won a Tony before, right?
Yeah,
because Jeanette, Broadway Jeanette was here, but Emmy-winning filmmaker. And let me tell you, he's in the process of wrapping up production on a documentary called Legacy of Land. It tells the story of a Black couple who were his grandparents who owned 1,500 acres.
Wow.
And united an entire community across racial lines during Jim Crow at the height of Prohibition. The film touches on the couple's entrepreneurial vision, land ownership, leadership, and their foresight to put their possessions in a, guess what? A trust, right? And secure family legacy. Because we know what we say about a trust. You want to own nothing. Control
it all.
Hey, there you go. So without any further ado, let's bring on Dario Harris.
Well,
my brother, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing awesome. And what about you?
Man, we're doing well. I'm excited to have you on the show because this is such a amazing journey that you're documenting about your grandparents. But before we get into that, man, tell us a little bit about you and that Emmy back there. How did you win that? Tell us a little bit about that experience. So
I started my filmmaking journey. First off, thank you both for having me. I'm honored. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I started my journey in 2015, 16. I was a stand-in, and I did background for the Tupac film, All Eyes on Me. And I was also a stand-in for the Hidden Figures movie with Octavia Spencer. So I'm actually in the first trailer that they cut, pretty much. It's like a split second. You can barely see me, but if you stop and pause it, you'll see me standing there.
Hit pause.
Hit pause right there. Yeah, it is.
Him as well, pretty much. I'm a lot younger. You got to kind of stop it and you'll see me there. So, as a musician at the time, telling stories pretty much and just coming to set, every day on those, big productions. And I'm looking at the size and I'm like, I'm already kind of telling stories in my music pretty much. Why not start, doing short films and just kind of graduate into feature, film. So I did just that. I wrote and produced and I directed my first short film on breast cancer, Pink Roses, 2017. In 2020, when COVID hit, I did my second short film titled On Trees, and that won awards as well. And it was about Black lynchings and suicide and depression and so on. And in 2021, we're still kind of locked down pretty much. A good partner of mine, he got into writing. I taught him how to write, and he wrote a film titled The Girl in Apartment 15. And he moved to LA from Atlanta. And I was like, you can act, but stop waiting around for opportunities and just create your own, right? So, let's put the money up. He put the money up. I put in some funds and he found a production company in LA. And they shot this film on a $3,000 budget and it won an Emmy. It won. Wow. I'm still shocked to this day because, I'm not shocked. It was just God's timing and God's plan.
Yeah.
Because, the categories were pretty tough and the budget was like, $40,000 short film, a $25,000 short film. My budget was $3,000 and it was 7 Black men that, produced this film. So it was just amazing. And it just, it changed my career for sure,
Wow.
What category did you win?
Say again, I'm sorry.
What category did you win the Emmy?
We won for Best Daytime Short Form Narrative.
Okay.
Daytime Emmy Award. Yeah. And
because the Emmys are all like daytime TV, right?
It was daytime and primetime. But the only difference between a daytime Emmy and a primetime Emmy is what time your film comes out, pretty much. A film pretty much or a TV show and it comes on at 4:30 p.m. is daytime. If it comes on at prime time, like when folks are home, like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. is prime time.
Okay.
Yeah.
but it's not like a higher or lower thing. It's all the same thing. It's just a daytime.
Right.
Just when it aired.
It's just a matter of when it airs, right?
Right.
Because I always just think about daytime Emmys, right? And maybe because when I was growing up, my mom, was watching Young and the Restless, so that's all I knew, right? But it's like the daytime Emmys and that type of thing. But man, I'm just super impressed. And now that I found out that you shot the film with $3,000 budget,
right?
So, man, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, change everything, man.
That reminds me of somebody else.
It reminds you of somebody else.
Your godson, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he does the same thing. Yeah.
Is doing a film. So,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
The faith of the mustard seed. A lot of people just feel like, oh man, I don't have this big budget. I don't have the resources. But one thing I learned is the network across. Why am I trying to network with, Denzel right now? Pretty much when I have peers who are, very talented and trying to get on, the same way I am, pretty much. Let's network across pretty much and build our network, and we can all go forward together instead of trying to, so fast.
Right.
And more, being independent, man, you learn how to do everything. By the time you get to the feature arena, you have a big budget. Man, you're well versed in every category.
Right. Well, and that's the thing about our business is so often that we call it bootstrapping, right? Because then we learn every aspect of our business, and when you are then providing oversight, when you have people working for you, you know what. And oftentimes that's so important because the people who work for you, you need people there that either witness you doing it all or know of your legend of doing it all, so that when you talk and you make changes and you say something, you're saying it from a position of authority, not just what I heard, but what I know, because you were on the grind.
Exactly. You've seen it work before.
And you know what works and what doesn't work.
I do,
because you experienced it, right?
This stage,
yeah, because it's like, oh, I'm not doing that again.
I've seen this before, right? Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Why we didn't figure that out with the election, but anyway, that's a whole topic, right?
Let's not digress.
Let's not digress. Well, man, let me tell you something. This is what I'm super excited. The title of Legacy of Land. I think just when I saw that title, it was dope to me, right? Because I think about, we were just talking about, going back, seeing places where I grew up in this small town, Muskegon, Mississippi. My dad owned property. My wife's family owns property. And we're talking about a situation, and I want to hear your story, but we're talking about a situation where, grandfather had to get a white person to buy the land for him because they wouldn't sell it to a black. So he had to get somebody to impostor him to buy this land because they wouldn't sell it to a black person. Right. And so that's the type of legacy. And when you realize what people have gone through to acquire land and to hang on to it, because just because you bought it didn't mean that they wasn't going to come and take it from you.
Right.
So I'm really interested in number one, just what made you decide to do this documentary, and then just give us a little backdrop about it and what it's all about.
Well, it took me some years to really just kind of mature, as a filmmaker, and realize what's important, pretty much. Because once you get into filmmaking, pretty much a lot of people's goal is Hollywood and the bright lights and the big production, pretty much, and you kind of skip over your own history in a way. You just kind of not forget your roots, pretty much, but you just don't see how important it is. And every person's story is important. Yours is important, pretty much, man. That's a deep story there, people. I'm thinking about scenes already for it. It's very important. So I traveled a lot, being military of 23 years. I'm actually going through retirement now, and I worked at Delta for a while, so just traveling the world. And then after I won the Emmy, I became a Television Academy member. So I'm back and forth to Hollywood for events, pretty much. I'm meeting Samuel Jackson. I'm meeting, Issa Rae, I'm meeting, everyone you think of, I'm meeting pretty much, and I'm talking and we're shaking hands, and I'm just like thinking like of my next project, and that's my pillars and my elders at home are like dying off, as I go home to kind of, recharge and refresh and we talk, man, I'm just getting these stories and all the history that
Mm.
I heard as a kid, but I wasn't focused enough to really soak it in.
Mhm.
And I wanted to get away from it so bad because I was chasing the bright lights and the city, life and everything else.
So, Dario, where's home?
Home now is Atlanta, Georgia, but my family, pretty much the root of my family is in Boston, Georgia. Not
Okay.
Boston, Massachusetts, but Boston is a small town that borders the state line of Florida. It's on the bottom of Georgia. So it's the last town before you cross cross over into Tallahassee, Florida. Yeah.
Tallahassee.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as I, just started going home a lot more pretty much and just kind of getting the history. And, I was thinking of my next project and I'm like, and my story is important, man. From my great grandfather and my great grandmother and the land and the reason I can go home and I just always feel free and I can eat from the land and I can get, water from the land and I'm always safe and protected. It's like, we struggle, to have that in our, towns and our cities now, right? So
Right.
I thought about it for about 2 years and after I lost like my last two pillars of the family, I was like, man, I gotta do this documentary. And I have to do it. So I put my team together and we filmed it in August and we're in post-production right now. So we should have a trailer soon around late January, February, Black History Month. So
Yeah, that's a nice time to launch, right?
Yep, great timing. So yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's 1,500 acres. I know you don't want to give all the film away, but 1,500, that's a lot.
That's a lot of acres.
Oh, well, so at the height of his career, he acquired 1,500 acres, but he was only able to keep about 500 of that, which is still a lot.
Amazing. Yeah.
So today, they have 100 acres right now, but collectively as a family, we still have about 400 and something acres in the same town, the same area. Like,
okay,
great. The granddad's land is 100 acres, and then about 3 miles away is my Uncle Willie James has 226 acres, and then my other, great uncle has another 40 acres, and then my other uncle has 7 here. So it all, it's still in the same area.
It's all in under still in the family. That's
right.
That's what's awesome. And so we talk a lot with our clients and on the show I do about establishing a trust in order to be able to keep assets. And of course, land is one of the most valuable assets that we can have, right? About keeping that in our family and keeping that going. So I noticed in the information I had that they talked about the use of trust, that type of thing. Is there anything that you could say about that trust and how it worked and how it played a part in you family keeping the land without giving the movie away? But
it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. So I wouldn't have a film to do about my family if it wasn't for a Black woman. If it wasn't for my great grandmother who had the wits and the knowledge back then in the 30s, 40s, 50s, during this time of segregation, pretty much to just think, let me go and put this land in a trust. But the reason that she put it in a trust is because my great grandfather James Ham, he was a hustler. He made his own moonshine. He bootlegged pretty much and made his own moonshine. He didn't buy any moonshine. He made his own with the potatoes and the fermenting and skimming off the poison and the entire process. He did that, right? And he made a lot of money from selling moonshine, trapping coon, and selling the hide pretty much, and farming the land. So even though he was
country boy, man,
yeah,
love that.
so even though he was good at making the money and keeping the money, he found himself kind of selling off land to help his other sons that were in trouble.
Mm.
And the land started fizzling down, from 500 to 400 to 3 to 100. And by the time it got down, Bessie Ham Oliver, Bessie Oliver Ham, pretty much my great granny, she was like, nah, no, we're gonna keep this land here. And she went to the bank pretty much and put it in the trust.
Mm.
Thank God for that. And my great uncle Lewis is 89, and he's been paying the taxes on that land for about 6 decades now.
Wow.
Wow.
Decades. And he's pretty savvy, and he's educated as well. So it's been a couple of times where they've tried to take some land or try to buy it, but it's all family owned pretty much. And we can all go there right now and stay or just kind of clean it up and have fun there. We can shoot our guns there and everything. So
yeah, that's a great place to have like a family reunion.
Yeah.
And Michelle, I hadn't thought about this about your niece. I mean, she had a wedding
on the family land. Yeah,
on the family land, right?
Yeah,
and so it looked like it was so cool. I mean,
it was. Yeah, they had cows and everything.
And we've done that too. So my wife's family, we have family reunion on that land.
On the family land.
In the family, right? And so, man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So where the property starts pretty much, it's a main road and then it's a dirt road that like about a good quarter mile pretty much. It's a long dirt road. And as a kid, like that feeling of being at the house and seeing your favorite cousins turn in and you could just see them coming down, driving, and the dirt is going in the air and everything. He's like, man, it was a crazy feeling. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
But while people are trying to move away to Spain and Africa and just move away, I'm like, this has been my Africa for years.
Yeah.
We have the livestock, we have the freedom, we have the food, our family, we can, roam free, no one calling the cops because my family knows all the cops, decades pretty much. And my great grandfather was a Mason and everything. Like he just knew everyone. And back then, land was the most powerful resource. How did man in that time, prior to desegregation, have so not just land, but that amount of land.
That much
land. Yeah, that's amazing. And I think about just being from Michigan and Idlewild. I don't know if you've ever heard of Idlewild in Michigan. Huh?
Yeah, I love that. Oh, you talking about the movie or the place?
No,
the place.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet, but I heard about the place.
Yeah. So even up in, and I think about my dad and Uncle Benny. They used to go up in Baldwin and all that, and they deer hunt. Supposedly, they were deer hunting. Supposedly, they ain't never come home with no deer, but they were deer hunting, right? But you got Baldwin, you got Ottawa up there, and that's where all of the black. It was like the Black Hollywood. Armstrong had a place there. Ella Fitzgerald had a cabin there, and they had all this place. And it was a place that was for us, right? And I've been through there before, and there's a lot of families in Michigan that still own cabins and stuff up there, but don't know the history of the land, right? And the fact that it was. And I think so often, if the land could speak to us about what's there, and that's what. My point is that's what you do. I think you're giving a voice to the land, right? As doing this documentary, and I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty awesome. Again,
thank you. One of the things that stood out to me is I wanted to make sure, because I think at this point, we have enough films and documentaries about the hardship of being slaves or just being servants in that era pretty much. But, it's not a lot of projects that highlight the small towns or the areas that were ahead of their time, when it came to race relations,
Right.
um,
Well, and as you say that, I think about Black Wall Street. We all hear about Tulsa,
yeah,
Oklahoma, and that whole Black Wall Street. But of course, there were many Black Wall Streets
Yep.
across the country, and then there were other communities that maybe you didn't classify as a Black Wall Street, like perhaps Boston, Georgia, right, where you have where your families from, and the fact that you own land. I mean, that was wealth, right?
Yeah.
And you could live off the land, and all that stuff. So really, what is financial independence?
Yeah.
Is being able to, live without depending on someone else,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty cool.
and you're right. It was a Black Wall Street of its own because the barter system was very heavy back then, right?
Mhm.
The slaughterhouses were black owned pretty much. The butcher houses were black owned pretty much, and black farmers could sell to each other and barter with each other pretty much, right? So yeah, it was a
Yeah. And
But
it kept that dollar in circulation within the community. And one of the things, we spend so much time on Project 2025
yeah,
yeah, we did.
talking about it,
Uh,
but as a people, I think we need to embody some of that went on back then, like to help our dollar circulate more,
yeah.
you know,
Well,
buy from.
you're
Yeah,
talking about like the Green Book, right? The
yeah, yeah,
Book
yeah, yeah.
travel,
Mm-hmm.
and those type of things. As we desegregated, Michelle,
Right.
we become less dependent on each
On
other,
each other.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And the thing that you were saying when you said circulate the dollar, I was thinking about circulating the currency,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
because currency is not always dollars.
hmm
That's true.
It-
That's true.
it's
Because
labor,
with the
it's
barter, yeah,
bartering,
yeah,
right?
it's
Right.
currency.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it all builds wealth. Like
Yes.
it builds wealth within the system.
And within the community.
Yeah. And the community. The community is the system.
You know,
Yes.
So the legacy is
yeah,
really the land.
Yes.
See how I did that, man? See how I brought that back around just for you.
it
Baptist preacher, go right ahead.
is in the land, So to have land, man, I encourage everyone like stop selling, your parents' homes, and we're so quick to sell our parents' homes for a few $1,000s pretty much, and we think that is everything, but um it saves your kids and your kids' from having to, finish college and come home and pay rent for $2,000 somewhere, pretty much.
Mhm.
Where they can go home and just reset for a year, and I cannot pay any mortgage or rent pretty much for a year, right? And that's your money now because you just stay on your family land and you pay some utilities and just kind of, just cut the grass a little bit, whatever. And you save money, and you're good to go.
It's true.
So I'm
We
actually
we like that, though, Michelle.
Right.
yeah.
And if you got mama's house, they can stay at mama's house. They ain't got to be in your house.
Right. Exactly.
If you
All
do
that
in
stuff.
houses, pretty much, you can always put a tiny home on the land because it's so many acres.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It could be a temporary home, pretty much.
That's true.
That was the thing that surprised me too when we were just home in Muskegon. All the tiny homes I saw
Really?
that are, people are making these tiny homes
On their properties.
on their properties,
Mhm.
especially those properties that are near the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So Dario, if you I want to ask you what advice would you give the audience who's listening tonight about life or about persevering to reach their dreams? What would you throw on them tonight?
As far as life and persevering, it's a great question. I would say that thing in your, like in your mind and your heart that that drives you and fulfills you every day. Like I don't care who's around or who doesn't believe or who doesn't see your vision. go after that burning desire that's in your mind that you can't stop thinking about. As long as it's legal, it's positive, and it's purposeful, go do that. And it's going to be hurdles, it's going to be obstacles, it's going to be people that don't believe, it's going to be your own family member, it could be your spouse, a cousin, whoever. Like, God didn't give you the vision for everyone else to understand that vision. You just have to go forth and do it. Because if I would have listened to people, I would still be in the military maybe and not be happy and kind of be unhealthy, be stressing. But I had to step away, save my money, and just pursue my goals, and it led me. And don't be a gatekeeper of knowledge, man. So don't always feel you have to charge for knowledge all the time, pretty much. Like, if you see someone who is yearning for knowledge and they're a great person, and you have to know that it's going to come back to you tenfold. Just give it to them. And that's how I wanted Emmy. Pretty much, I was paying for classes from a mentor on screenwriting, and I could have turned around and did the same thing, right? But I didn't do that, man. I had a partner who was always with me and supportive, and I was just kind of giving him the game. As I would get it, I would just give it to him. Just give it to him.
And it shall be given back to you.
Yeah, he wrote the project, and he called me, say, "Hey, man, I need to just kind of come and sit with you and just make sure that it's good." So he flew back here from. I cooked some dinner, pretty much, and we sat and did some editing. And yeah, it's just amazing how God works, man. Like, so persevere, chase that thing that you can't stop thinking about, and do not be a gatekeeper, man. Share the blessings because they come back tenfold. It might not be money all the time,
Right.
Current, right?
Current, yeah.
Currency, there's things that are currency that it means way more than money. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I love that. And I'm gonna let Michelle say her own tagline. Her
Turn your
tagline:
passion into profit.
turn your passion into profit.
Turn your passion into profit.
That's a beautiful thing.
So,
well, man, I really thank you for stopping by, spending this time with us and sharing. Please let us know when that documentary is out. We can see it and the trailer and all that good stuff, man, because we're going to support in whatever way we can. And, thank you for just continue to inspire people. And y'all get your trust, get your land in a trust.
Yes.
You heard her say what his great grandma did, right?
Right.
She put it in a trust. Come on out with it. There
it
is.
That's right. That's
there
right.
It is. Yeah.
Wow.
Love it. Dario.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Woo! That's what I'm talking about.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Because I'm sure when you started that project, you did not know that at the end of it would be an Emmy.
You know what? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I played myself, and I have to tell this story and I'll be done, right? So we shot the project and we put it in, the Emmy, the Television Academy, and we were nominated.
Mm-hmm.
And we were, nominated pretty much. My friends and nominees were like, "Hey, come to LA in case we win, because you could be on the TV screen pretty much, talking everything else." And I'm like, it's whitewash. Man, we're not gonna win. I'm just glad we got nominated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting in my friend's house in his garage. He's a fellow veteran pretty much, and I'm just having a beer with him. And he has a small TV, in the middle of his garage, and it's on pretty much. And he's like, "Hey, man, don't that show come on today? To kind of see if you won." I'm like, "Yeah, man, but I ain't tripping." But he was like, "Man, I think you should watch." So he turned. It's a small TV. It had to be like 20 inches. And we're sitting there pretty much, and I'm still just being so nonchalant pretty much. And they're going through the categories, and it's like, the girl in apartment 15, such and such and such and such. And I can see people there, and they're dressed up in their tux and everything else, and they're sitting there waiting, fingers crossed. And I'm just like, whatever. So, goes to commercial and come back, and they say, and the winner is the girl in apartment 15. And I went hoarse.
Won't he do it?
You're like, whoa. I'm like, no. I was in such a disbelief for weeks.
Wow.
I'm kind of in shock. I'm just like, whoa, 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 whoa. So I played myself. I should have went out there.
Yeah.
With the hopes of winning, with the tucks and everything, but
But man, that's
you still got it though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you're still in my doorstep now.
That's right.
Yeah, that's good. But that's all right, man, because God will elevate you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to always elevate ourselves, but that was meant for you. That was meant for you. And and there it is. There it is. It's your desk, brother.
Where you are in the process or where you are in line, when it's your turn, God gets you all the way up there. Don't worry about where you are.
Yeah.
God is going to change everything for you. I promise you, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony and Michelle, thank you. And Dante, thank you guys so much for having me.
And thank you, man. It was
a
pleasure being here. Please tell Ivan Thomas we said hello when you talk to him.
Sure.
And so much love, man, and much more success to come. I think you're gonna get another one of them.
Absolutely.
Do it in my shot.
Do that as well, but thank you so much.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, everyone, we want to just wish everybody the most happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. Take this time to enjoy one another, love on one another. I ain't gonna tell you not to eat too much, but
right, Dante.
Do what you gotta do, right? Do what you gotta do. So with that, we will sign off. Dante, thank you so much. We'll be back with you next week. And I got a feeling we're gonna have another fabulous guest because we always
Yes.
All right. God is good. Take care, everybody.
All right. Have a good night.